Good evening, everybody. So just signify with an emoji if you can hear me. Mhm. Okay, so welcome to the fifth episode of the Tales by Moonlight series. And if this is your first time here, let me just give a recap of what the series is about. The Tales by Moonlight series is where seasoned entrepreneurs, creators, brand owners, as well as startup founders come to share their own stories so other people can learn from these stories and build successful brands for themselves. So, today we are definitely in for enjoyment time, like an awesome time in this series, as we have our very own beautiful speaker ahead of myself. I am Flourish, your host for today's episode, and I'm a creative writer at Tail It Media. So, our speaker is in the house today, and you can definitely tell that she is an early bird. We have Mrs. Ajoke Onifari. If you are Yoruba in the house and you don't know what fiery means enjoyment. So you should know that we have an enjoyment, like an enjoyable period in today's episode. So I'm going to allow our speaker to introduce herself. Okay. Okay, I think maybe a network or she cannot hear me so well. So our speaker for today is Mrs. Sunny Rodiat, popularly known as Ajoke Onifari. And today, she's going to be taking us through the topic Productivity Act for Acts for Entrepreneurs. And definitely, this is something that is so important because as a business owner, even as a startup founder, it's very easy for you to get burnt out very easily. It's very easy to not know what to do. It's very easy to get tired because sometimes you feel like the strategies you are using, maybe they are becoming redundant or your community is not responsive. So at that point in time, you just want to give up on everything. It looks like nothing is yielding results. So that's why our speaker is here today to share practical examples as well as stories and strategies that have worked for her that can also work for other entrepreneurs to ensure productivity. So I'm giving it up to our speaker to give a brief introduction of herself.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay, good evening, and thank you for inviting me to come and speak on this space. Please, I would like to say I won't be spending much time as I am on the road, but I will just make whatever I want to say brief. My name is Sonny Oluwatosin Rodiat, popularly known as Ajoke Onifari. I run Onifari brand, where we sell scarves. We make handmade bags, scarves, accessories, female gift box. And I'm also a product photographer too, and I'm a graphic designer with over 10 years experience. So today I'll be talking about, I don't know if I should go on or it is just the introduction part yet.
All right, so this is just the introduction part, ma'am. So
Okay.
let me take the on of our speaker more. She's a very versatile multitasker. As she has introduced herself, she's a product photographer. She owns the Onifari brand, and as well, she's also a designer. Like this woman wears many feathers on her hat. And also, she's also a professional marketer, and she's here to enlighten us on productivity acts for entrepreneurs. So, Mrs. Ajake, I'm going to be asking a series of questions that are going to like pave way into the series for us, so into the episode for us today. So the first question now, you run the Onifari brand. You are a product photographer, and you've tutored a lot of students with evidences to show for it. So please, can you share a story of like an obstacle that you have faced in your entrepreneurial journey and how you overcame that obstacle?
I think the very first time I would encounter an obstacle was when I paid a supplier. I think that was 2022. Yeah, 2022. So this will bring about forming a good presence online. So like I paid in November, January, February, January. I didn't get my goods. The goods I was supposed to get by December. So I have a few friends online that will talk about business and all. So I had to tell them my ordeal that this is why I've been postponing my resumption and all. And my online friends that I've never met before came together to raise money to go back into business. This is a story that I'm not sure I've said it out before. I've not said it openly out. So building a connection online was what helped me then. If not, the business would have been on hold for months until I was able to clear my goods from the supplier. It got to a point, there was a friend of mine, he's a lawyer, that had to get involved before I was able to get my goods. I think it was late February or March. Was it March or something? That was one of the challenge that was my most toughest challenges that I faced. And another one was when we wanted to launch a bag, there was a robbery attack then. So everything was just, we just had to put everything on hold and everything. The behind the scene most times is always tough, but we just don't come out to say it. But however, we are just focused on our destination. We will not allow anything to stop us when we are on the journey. So that's it.
All right, Mrs. Ajoke, thank you so much. She mentioned a few things which I'm going to highlight: building the right connection online, right, and then knowing when to open up to these people. During our first episode, the media queen talked about knowing what to say outside and knowing what not to say outside. And as she said, the behind the scenes is not everything is posted online. But then the destination is definitely sure. So you've mentioned one of the things that keeps you going, your online community that which you've built and is so strong. So what else drives your resilience and perseverance in the face of challenges like this one?
What I think one of the things that drive me going with the brand is that anytime I want to do something for the brand, the mindset that my business is a small business, I don't always have that mindset. I always believed that it is the way I present my brand is the way they are going to accept it for me. So the big future, the big picture that no, this brand is just beyond selling scarves, accessory, making handmade bags for me. It is like building a community. It's like the brand to me is like my customers are looking up to me. So I must be up on my game. I must do something. And it's not as if what I am going to do is something extraordinary. I just have to bring my research and give it to my community, give it to my customers in my own tone, in my own way that I already know that these are who I want to reach. These are the people I have been telling to before. So how am I going to reach them? So that is the thing that give me the zeal that no, there are people out there that needs me. There are people out there that have been needing me before and they are still part of this thing. So letting them down is not something that I want to do. I am just the creative director of Onifari, but my customers and my community are people that own Onifari. That is just what the business is about for me. And I wouldn't want to let them down while enjoying what I'm doing myself.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Ajake. As you know, she said she is just a creative director, and it's our customers that own the only file. This boils down to some episodes that we had few weeks back, and it says that create your content with ownership mentality. It goes far beyond what you are selling. You know what she said in English, the Yoruba is bó bá ṣe pé igbá ẹ̀ ni àwọn èèyàn ṣe máa bá ẹ pé. It's the way you present your business to people that they are going to treat it for you. So please, as entrepreneurs, as startup founders, as creators, do well to do a great job at presenting your business in a good light. So that's the next question now. So now when you have like failures, right? We learn as we go on in life. So, Ms. Ajoke, from the things that you have learned so far, at this current stage that your brand is, that this stage that you are as an entrepreneur, how do you approach failures? Because I'm sure that over time you'll have definitely noted that if I do this thing this way, maybe when you started your brand, it's not going to be so nice. So at this current stage that you are, from what you've learned, your experiences, how would you approach failures as an entrepreneur?
Okay. The first thing when having a project, the first thing I understand is that we cannot always have 100% success rate in everything that we do. But at least we should have 70 to 80% success rate. I don't know, maybe it's because of the faith that I practice, or it's so okay. Let me say there was something that happened to me last year. As at I wanted to do an event, and up to a week to the event there was no turn up, and I just continued praying and all like that. And within 48 hours we even had to close registration because the turn up was too much. So back to the question, I have started the journey of being a positive and a grateful person, because I've learned to understand that in this life we can never always get what you want. But the moment we start practicing this positive mindset, that so when I have a failure in my business or a challenges, I go back to go and view the ones that I did that are successful in even beyond my imagination. So those things just calm, put my mind at peace. And I remember when Allah says, if you are a Muslim, Allah says that He's going to give us and we'll be pleased. So the negative thing, the unsuccessful one that I have, I just finalize my mind that, oh, this thing, if it eventually goes successful, I will not be pleased with it. So that is why it is unsuccessful. So I just go back to, sometimes I check my Instagram pages and see, it makes me so happy. So that's why I don't just push out content. I push out content that on my bad days, I can go back to it and feel happy that no, I am doing well. I am doing good for this brand. So this thing start from yourself. If you are a business person, you have to start the journey of being a positive person. You cannot always make 100% sales a day, and you might make 2 month sales in 48 hours when God says it is the time. So we now reflect on all those days when the bad things happen, when the things that are not successful happen. So that's basically how I handle failure. I just, when I tell people that things don't get to me for long, once it get to me, I go back to days of positivity, reflect on it, thank God, and I moved on. So that is how I, anything that happen, that is how I accept it and just move on.
Okay. That's such a nice kind of approach. From the things she has said, first and foremost, it starts with you as the business owner, as the creator, as the entrepreneur, as the brain behind all of these things. You have to approach things with a positive mindset. And one major thing she really said that really got to me was the kind of content that she pushed out, right? So when you push out some content, push it out such a way that you can reference back to it later. It can just be that gleam of light that you need on some days. So Ma'am, you mentioned an event that you were planning last year and you had to like later close down the registration. Now, in line with that, can you share like an example of a time when you had to change your business strategy due to unforeseen circumstances? Maybe there was a certain, like there is already a plan on ground. However, you had to change your plans, your business strategy because of circumstances like that were unforeseen.
Okay, I think I didn't close the event because it was not successful. I closed it because it got to at the last minute the registration was filled up even when we least expected, so we had to stop telling people to register. Okay, so I think there was something I tried to launch and it didn't go well. What I did was, okay, I did the first one, it went well. And I did the second one, but it didn't move like the way I wanted it to be. So what I did was I just repurposed it. I repurposed it. That was basically what I did. I repurposed it. I make people see it in another dimension, in another limelight. As a business person, you are the one that is going to think for your customers. So I was like, I took a few pulls on my. Alaikum salam. So I did a few pulls my on my WhatsApp, and I was able to get few answers that I needed then. So I repurposed it and it went well. So that was it.
All right. So you see, sometimes the first attempt may go well, but that doesn't guarantee the success rate of the second attempt. However, that shouldn't be a point for you to give up. You just sit back, consult your customers, and re-strategize. Whether it's for you to repurpose, whether it's for you to just give up and go back to the drawing table for a while. So, ma'am, you have quite a strong community on Twitter, on X. So now I noticed that your X is majorly maybe for your scarf brand, like very the Onifari brand, while your Instagram now is majorly for let's say like product photography and all those things. So how what are the kind of strategies that you use, that you adapt to stay relevant, right, in a rapidly changing business environment?
Oh, I actually have a business page on Instagram too. I have 3 pages on Instagram. A personal page for product photography. I have one for my business, and I have one for my community. So what I do for to stay relevant is we have to read. Like, I make research, and I learned something from somebody that a good content creator, a good creator, a good business person is somebody that was able to take ideas from the music industry and bring it to fashion industry to repurpose. That's one of the things that works for me. There's ideas everywhere, football, anything, different ways. So it's just for me to sit down, think. When ideas come to my mind, pick my note and write. Just for me to sit down, think and do the this thing and fine tune it to my own tone. That's one of the things that I do. So basically that's it. My Instagram page for my business is onifari_brand. So you can find me there.
Okay, so one of the things that she said, repurposing, like trying to take ideas from somewhere and infuse it into another and fine tune it in such a way that is going to be tailored to the industry that you are dealing in as an entrepreneur. So, ma'am, you mentioned like you have like 3 Instagram pages. That is quite a lot. That's like managing it is really a great task. Now, so now you have a community, a strong community. So, how have you been able to like build this? Also, you've even mentioned that you have online friends. How have you been able to like build this support network? And what are some of the roles that people like mentors, your friends, or even colleagues, what are the roles that they play in your journey as a person and even how far you've come in your business?
Okay, firstly, my main business page is the one that is most active. For the product photography, I just drop some random pictures that I put there. And for the community, it's not, although it's not really active, but it's not much of a work. Just put things that we do on the community there. But my main business page is as active as my Twitter page. So, how I'm able to build a connection online? One thing I've learned in this life is that what you put out, what you want to attract. So there's this my friend on Twitter. Yeah, he's a well-known person, Uncle B. When we started being close was I saw him post a design for, I figured that he do retweet my business and all. That was his own little way of supporting her. So I figured he posted a flyer and I entered his DM that, Alpha, I can teach you this thing for free because this design does not go with your, you are supposed to be posting a a a great design. Even though he didn't wait to do graduation, he ran away, but that jokes apart. So I figured that I would give before. If you give, there are some knowledge that, there are some people that you can't charge for your knowledge, because the roles they are filling, everything, building connection is beyond money. Even before we grow the friendship to the extent that we like, alpha shey me read 200k bẹ́ẹ̀ help me run am, I want to use it for something sharp sharp. We started with like holding each other's hand. Oh, I need to do this. Me, I know it oh, I can do it for you. Me too, I need something. I know it oh, I can do it for you. So that was how the relationship started growing, growing like that. And it was, none of us was like, oh shebi me I've done this one for this one, he too should do something to compensate. No, it was something of free will. So that was how the relationship grow to this extent that we are able to be like sow seed in each other's life, and we continue to water it, pushing each other for upward. How far somebody needs so can you do the, oya run it. So that was how we keep growing the network, we keep growing the network. And from there we started banking on each other's referral that, oh, I know somebody, okay, so this person, I know him from so person. That too, the tree started growing, started growing. That was basically what I did. Like, okay. And when you put the mindset that I want to do this thing, it's not everybody that will repay you. So those that are not repaying you or anything, just know that you do your own. Focus on the people that you are getting the same energy back from, and just build whatever you want to build. So that's basically what make me have a strong connection online. So that's it.
Okay, so dear entrepreneur, on this episode, please, I hope that you are able to like get these ideas like in total. You know, focus on the people that you are receiving the same wavelength of energy from. You know, she mentioned someone that what it does to support our business is to repost our own tweets. So I think one thing we can note from there is that be observant, be really, really observant. And what's it called is not really about money. It is not about money. So it's the connection you build, it goes beyond money. So what we build goes beyond monetary value, you know. It's more or less like whether I am paid or not, just ensure that you do a good job, because definitely there are people we cannot charge for your knowledge, because the amount of effort that they've put into growing your business and holding your hand through the journey is worth much more than money. So, Mrs. Ajoke, so now in this support journey, in this you shared many stories of how you shared stories about how your friend. So what's that one story that stands out to you, right? Of how your support network, how they've helped you to navigate a really challenging situation. Like they literally held your hands through. What's that one story that is really, really like top of mind story?
I think I've mentioned the story when a supplier didn't deliver my goods. So when I went to them crying that, will I now That was the first year that I started my business. When I went to them like, shey I will now stop selling it because a supplier did this, that. They came through together. They gave me money to start back. As much as it is a loan, that great effort is something that really helped the brand, and I paid back before our agreed date and all. So it was really a good something. And after then they when they have money, like, they'll just drop it for me that go and use it. When you are done using it, just drop it. They have really been a great help for the brand generally. They carry the brand on their head, they support. Even the ones that are no more in Nigeria again, they still buy from me up till date. So they have really been a great friend to me since when I started my business.
Okay, thank you so much, ma. So, the entrepreneur, like, as much as you want your friends to support your business, as much as you want them to repost, like, comment, share, as she said, put out what you want to attract, right? Because you can't. There's some, like, I think there was a skit I saw somewhere. It was just a funny video where someone was like, "My friend is asking me to repost a video. However, maybe the quality of the video is really terrible, or the video is just not giving in Gen Z terms." So, as much as you want your friends to support your business, I think make the support worth it for them also, in the fact that what you put out there, make it valuable. If it's entertainment you want to do, please do it with your full chest. And if your business, what you really want it to be around is maybe formal, or maybe you want to make it about fashion, make sure that even your behind the scenes video, we said it on one of our episodes before, let it be visually appealing to people. So when someone wants to post, person will not be having like two thoughts that, shey this thing is nice or it's not nice. Okay, so Mrs. Ajoke, what's that advice that you have for entrepreneurs who are looking to build their own community, who are looking to build their own support network and tribe? What's that advice that you have for them?
Okay, but the kind of advice I'll have for them is that they should be authentic. They should not do it because it shouldn't be centered around them only. It should be something on free will. And one thing is that it's not until you create a WhatsApp group and add people before you build a community. The people that are interacting with your post on your social media are even your community. The people that are interacting with your WhatsApp status are your community. So I guess there's a pandemic of people creating WhatsApp and adding WhatsApp group now, adding people and saying they are creating a community. No, when you actually needed that. Yeah, that's why some on along the line might not work well. Sometimes it's even good to let somebody take the lead while you are just part of the team building it, instead of trying to be separately. So if you are looking at building a niche or something for yourself on Instagram, on any social media, talk about things that interest you. Bad as e bad, there will be people that can relate with it. Don't be saucy to people online. Don't say because Twitter is full of banter and everything and you just go there to be like from one place to another, be saucy and everything. Everybody has a bad side. I'm not saying I'm the good person or something, but if you are to follow what the two holy books says, when you just see people annoying you, just leave that scene. And although it's a journey, I've once been on in the face that, oh, why will you say this kind of thing to me? I must say my own. But now I just ignore that. Let me use the energy to do something good and have a good deed record for me that, wow, this person was able to ignore this kind of thing. So interact with people. There's something we call indirect selling. It is not until somebody buy from you before you sell to them. It's not until somebody is a customer, somebody buy from you before they are a customer. There are some people that they don't need your product, but they can boldly refer your product because You talk about the product, you talk about knowledgeable things about you already placed yourself as an authority in your field that, oh, if you are see, giving tips about what you do does not mean that does not mean that you will not charge people. It means that you are posting yourself as an authority. Talk about it. If you are baking cake, talk about how to get the right cake out of your oven. If you are doing resin, give tips and everything. And talk about other things that interest you. Football, talk about your faith and everything. Bad as it bad, say, you will see your tribe. And from there, there are some people on my WhatsApp list that once the Premier League season resume back now, that is when we will start interacting with each other's status. And after the season is off, there's no more interaction. That is their own session. There are some people that will talk when it comes to religious matter. There are some people that will talk when it comes to movie. One thing is that you should do is that don't talk down on people because they have different opinion from you. You people both should make your point, and if you see that the person is being too rigorous with it, just leave it. So from there, talking about things that interest you, sharing your knowledge, giving your input on things like, oh, how about so that's the way to build a connection. So when you build a connection with people, from there it grows. You give yourself time, it grows. 10 years journey, somebody that started 2 years ago should not compare themselves with 10 years journey person. So gradually, gradually, it will start growing. It will start growing. And when somebody have interest in it, then from there, another person will hear about it from them. And you start growing and you start growing, and then it will get better.
That was a bag of goodies, Mrs. Ajoke, that you just dropped for the entrepreneurs in the house. Well, she has said a lot of things. Some highlights, which are: be authentic, avoid comparison. The journey, the duration of the journey is not the same thing. So, like, this thing has been like, this particular statement has been recurring in our episodes a lot. So, you don't want to be comparing yourself with someone who has started 10 years back. It's not a path. That's being unfair to yourself. Give yourself the grace as an entrepreneur. And so, like that eating twins that you always discover in the labor room, right? We have a guest speaker in the house. Please give it up for Chioma Ara. She's also here to speak about your mental health as an entrepreneur. We know Nigeria is hard, Nigeria is hard, yes. And even being an entrepreneur in Nigeria is harder. So you can play a few games and tricks on your mental health, but not to worry. As they say, don't panic. We have Chioma in the house to speak to us about this. Hello, Chioma.
I'm not the bride, I'm the bride sister. Hi everyone, good evening. I'm so honestly, I'm not here to be a host, right? This thing is just showing host because of what happened the previous episode, that the thing just kept flipping, and I just decided that okay, I'm just going to turn this on just for damage control. But yes, surprise guests. So first of all, I just knew that something was going to be special about this episode. And truth be told, yes, this is my first time getting to experience Mrs. Ajoke. But the things that she has shared, although even though I've been stalking her, very proud to say that I've been stalking her, I really admire, and I'm very, very inspired by what she's doing. The fact that she can do all of these things at the same time while just like thriving in everything that she does. Honestly, if this adds to, like, what she's grateful for, I'll be so glad to say it over and over and over again. She's doing so beautifully well, and the things that she has been able to share with us today, I just know that for the rest of the year we are in for massive growth if we're able to implement, provided that we're able to implement. So yes. So she mentioned earlier that she's not going to spend too much time. So I'm just going to get right into it, even though I also have a lot to like ponder on from what she has said earlier. So Flourish, please remind me of what you just said. Hi
Hi,
Flourish,
Flourish.
please
Please
remind me
remind
of
me of
what you
Okay, so I was speaking about how you are going to enlighten us on today's episode about like mental health, right? Because Nigeria is hard, I beg. They just used to say don't panic, but sometimes panicking is really inevitable. So now, as someone who is also a business owner herself, how would you like now? How would you like you have a lot on your plate? I'm sure Mrs. Ajoketo has a lot on her plate. Like everyone just has a lot. So now, how would you prioritize self care, right, and mental health in your busy entrepreneurial life?
Okay, okay, I got you. So, so first of all, um, sorry, can you mute it? Because I'm hearing. Okay, okay, perfect. So, okay, all right. So first of all, like I always say it. If you've done and you are tired, please go and rest. Like if you want to give up, please give up, even though it's for a short period of time. Like give yourself that grace to rest. Resting is not laziness. Resting is a form of self-care. And there's something that Mrs. Ajoke said earlier, that always give yourself the credit for what you have done, because the truth is that you really don't know how far you've gone until you see yourself somebody else's like lens or somebody else's point of view. You've actually done so well, so give yourself that grace. And when I mean by doing well can look like you just waking up in the morning and sorting out the orders for the day. You don't have to work yourself to the point that you can literally feel yourself breaking. As I'm saying this thing, I'm also taking my own advice, because there are days that, especially when you're a perfectionist, most entrepreneurs are perfectionists by nature. And honestly, you can even tell from the way we handle our business that we are natural perfectionists. It is okay. That is how God has created us. But there are sometimes that we need to like consciously remind ourselves that just rest. Even though that resting feels like you are lazing around, still force yourself to rest, because if anything should happen to you, two things are involved. It's either somebody takes the business over and the person doesn't even do it the way you would, or the business will just die and nobody will remember you again. And neither of those options are good options. So the best thing to do is just to rest. And speaking of rest again, this one is not even about like physical labor. I'm also saying rest of mental rest. Few days ago, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, I made a post, and that post was kind of a vulnerable post about the season of weight. There will be a time where you would not even make a sale. Like you would think your village people are on your neck. Like you would literally feel yourself fighting raw tears, and you would be at the verge of like, what am I doing? Am I not doing enough? Am I not pushing out enough content? Am I not posting enough? Am I not getting enough reposts that people are not seeing it? That period too is a period for you to rest. It's a period for you to actually take a step back and take a breather. I'm taking my own advice as well, and I'll really appreciate if you take this advice too. So that's what I would say. Rest. Resting does not only mean sleeping. Resting can be you watching that movie that you've always wanted to watch for a very long time, and you're like, I don't deserve to watch it yet. I've not yet made this. I've not yet done that. I've not yet done this. Watch that movie. Resting can look like you just meditating. I meditate a lot. I go through hypnosis therapy and also NLP therapy. So NLP is neuro linguistic what's the what's the NLP? Yes, neuro linguistic. What's the P for again? I've forgotten. But it's basically the kind of therapy where you just like, you relax, you hypnotize yourself, you listen to like certain sounds that just like calms you down. I do this when I'm really tense. I do this when I'm beginning to feel like a little bit of anxiety building up. I do this often. I do this mostly at night, because that's like the perfect time to like, meditate. You can choose your time, maybe very early in the morning or late at night. That's my go-to. That's my go-to. My resting too can look like me, like, um, doing my makeup, because I love to play dress up a lot. That could be a form of rest. Like anything that would not require you to think too much or involve in a rigorous task, is considered rest. And I think every small business owner or startup founder or content creator should do this often. Yeah.
Okay, and as they say, that is a nice one. Like, it is giving all that it is supposed to give as a business owner, startup founder, creator. Please rest in Jesus' name, because it is very, very easy. I think it's easy to get on airplane mode just like your phone and just keep going and going and going. So it is not until it starts to tell on your body and you can feel it physically, right? That you just know that, okay, now I need to stop. No, it's not until it gets to your neck. It's not until it starts to choke. So breathe sometimes. As she said, listen to sounds that calm you down. Anxiety attacks is a real thing. It's not that your village people are doing you or something. It's you that you just need to rest. And I think one thing business owners need to notice that when you stress yourself to the extreme, like a rubber band, you're bound to snap. And sometimes the fact that you've been in the box for so long, you may not be able to like even think up anything new. It will be like, where are these ideas? Where are they? Well, they are in you resting, recharge yourself, and come back. And you see that you actually see things in a new light and in a new perspective. Okay, so Choma, now, right, you've spoken about a vulnerability post that you shared on Twitter. Why am I calling this thing Twitter? On X. At least I can say that something changed during my time. Twitter changed to X. Yes. So now, can you share that a personal struggle, right, that you faced regarding mental health and how you've been able to address this struggle or these struggles? Okay.
Okay. So you're asking me question based on like how I've been able to like handle mental health struggles, something
Something
in
in
that
that
line,
line,
right?
right? Yeah, actually, like personal struggles regarding mental health. Yes, exactly.
Okay, so one of the things that I struggle with is this whole perfectionism, and um I don't know, I always like put myself in a very tight spot. Like nobody sent me message. But I am hyper independent. Basically, I think that's the word for it. Like people like that, even aside being a perfectionist, I'm hyper independent. Like I don't know how to ask for help for certain things because I feel like I can just do it myself. You know, I guess coconut head. So these things actually do affect me mentally in the sense that, there's this saying where they say that two heads is better than one. It is not just a parable, it's actual life hack. Like when until you know how to ask for help, that is when good things can actually happen to you. So I think, and obviously, I mean, now like, I've improved so much. I've improved so much. Now I'm not even afraid to ask for help. I always ask for help when need be, even though I still low-key feel like I'm disturbing somebody. I know that somebody feels that way too, but like I feel like at this point it's a normal thing, but we just need to put in more effort to ask for help. But I really struggled with that mentally. Like it really messed me up because it puts me in I gave myself standards that were unrealistic. I gave myself unrealistic unrealistic expectations. I expected things that something that normal person would achieve this thing in 5 months. Joma wants to achieve it in 2 weeks. How does he want to work? And so many business owners think this way as well. You start a business, you want to make up to 5 million, and you just started your business a year ago. You are even still finding, because I know that most, let me not say most, but most business owners, more business owners, they skip the research stage. So they just open a business because they think it is lucrative. So when they now enter the business, they'll say that, oh, things are actually different. So that it works for Bimbo doesn't mean that it can actually work for me. And it's working for Bimbo because Bimbo had a specific strategy. But instead of you to now focus on what is in front of you, you'll be looking at Bimbo that has probably started her own like some years back, which is an example that Mr. Joke mentioned earlier. And then when you give yourself that, hyper, you stress yourself, you give yourself this heavy task that is not even realistic, and you begin to put in more effort, so to speak, so much effort, which in reality you're actually just wasting your mental capacity. You're just wasting your energy, because you're trying to achieve something that, realistically speaking, you can't achieve, if I'm being honest, with that time frame that you've given yourself and the very limited research that you have made. So these things begin to like affect you in all rounds of your business and even yourself. So it first starts with like self-doubt. Once you start doubting yourself, you know that everything around you will begin to fall apart little by little, because you first start to ask yourself that what am I doing wrong. Once you ask yourself that question, instead of you to ponder on that question, you jump to, am I not enough, or am I not smart enough? Then you begin to question your ability as a person. You begin to question your worth. That is it that I don't have the brain for business, or I am not this, or I'm not that. And before you know it, because you've already been able to, because you've been feeding your mind with this whole negative words and affirmations, it begins to reflect on your business, because it has clouded the part of your brain that is supposed to be giving you good ideas and giving you that fresh feel. And then everything just begins to fall apart, and you believe that it's your village people that are doing you, because you not understand yourself. It will get to a point that you'll be feeling sick, you'll be feeling like you're having malaria, but it's actually money that is doing you, because you are not seeing the money, nothing is motivating you. So all of these things can actually mess up with your mental health. This whole thing can mess you up mentally, and anything that can mess you up mentally would affect every area of your life, because if one area of your life is lacking, every area, before you know it, you're depressed, you're not getting up, your dopamine begins to reduce, nothing makes you happy, you lose passion, you're not eating well, you begin to lose weight, you begin to not think well, so all of these things is something that is bound to happen. And like I said earlier, a way to solve a problem is to identify the problem. So you know that, okay, this is what is wrong with me. Once you are able to identify the problem, the solutions begin to reveal itself little by little. So I feel like that's one thing that I would say that has really helped me in building my mental strength, identifying what the issue was. Okay, I had an issue of being hyper independent. I didn't know much how to ask for help. I know that this might seem funny or weird to some people, but I know that some people can relate with what I'm coming from. It's not as if we don't know that we need help, but the process of asking you is just, I don't know, it's just weirdly embarrassing, but it's something that you should be doing. You should be comfortable asking for help, because even in faith, I don't know, whatever faith you're in, you could be a Muslim or Christian here, but it's something that you could learn even aside religion. It is limiting not to extend your hands to your brother. It is limiting for every areas of your life, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. It is limiting when you can't extend your hands to a brother or a sister to help you. So yeah, that's my answer.
Whew, this session or this episode is how do I say, it hits close to home, right? These stories hit close to home. And that's the same way it is. Like, you have that thing that is going on with you, right? You are trying to put on a strong front, right? Mrs. Ajoke mentioned things that go on behind the scene, but it's not everyone that literally sees it, right? So you have to be good on the inside to be able to give out what is suitable and attractive to people. So, dear entrepreneur, try your possible best to rest. Resting does not mean that you are lazy, right? It doesn't mean that you are someone who doesn't want to work, right? Resting is giving your brain a break. It is you taking a break from overthinking things, coming up with so much strategy, being choked with a lot of deadlines, trying to, so please try and take that break. It is really necessary for your business. You know, I think one thing we should know is that your business is not you, right? Your business, okay, as a what's it called? As a law student, your business has its own legal personality, right? Your business has its own essence. It exists on its own, right? So you have to take care of you, to take care of your business is just like another human being, right? So to be able to take care of a baby, a mother needs to be sure that she's also in good state. If not, the baby will definitely fall sick because what she will nurture the child with won't be nutritious enough or healthy enough for that child to survive. So this question actually goes to, oh, our speaker is not here, but I think Chioma should be able to do this for us, right? So now, Chioma, when you are trying to, you've given us like things that you yourself do to be able to overcome like some mental struggles, to be able to take breaks and rest from things, right? So now, what are those strategies that you would recommend, right, for entrepreneurs who are trying to like maintain their mental well-being, like they're trying to maintain steeze and composure when it comes to their mental health? So what are those strategies that you would recommend for them?
Yes, so I mean, like maintaining steeze and composure is like key. In fact, that should be a mantra for the rest of this year. So the first thing that I would recommend, I mean, I think I've brushed on this, which is you can always meditate. Meditation really helps you to revamp your mind and your soul. And when you're able to like, relax yourself so well, you feel fresh, you feel rejuvenated, you feel brand new, you feel cool, feel calm. But I'm going to take it a step further, and this is something that I do personally. So this is me sharing my own secrets. So what I do, it might sound funny, but just try it out, okay? What I do is that oh my gosh. Okay, so what I do is that I treat myself like I'm taking myself on a date. Like, how would I explain it now? Okay, that one is one, but I'm talking about this one. I'm saying is more like it's kind of it's more relaxing and very intimate. um so it's like taking yourself on this romantic, chill, cool, relaxing evening. So you're going to plan it well, like you're going to do for someone else, because the whole logic with this strategy or this therapy that I indulge myself is that I noticed that a lot of us, we put in efforts in trying to make someone else feel good, if that makes sense. So let's say, for instance, you're going out with a group of friends. You prioritize it on like when you are trying to take your own self out. You don't realize that you don't have respect for yourself because you stand yourself up. Oh, you plan that you want to take yourself, you want to go and take ice cream, but all of a sudden you're like, I'm tired, I beg. Those are the problems. So what I do is that I put in the extra effort, like I'm as if I'm planning for someone else. So I actually plan my evening from what I'm going to have for dinner. I'm going to like plate it very aesthetically as if I'm serving someone. I'm going to go to the shower, make sure that my shower is warm. I can even go extra by adding petals, putting roses everywhere. Yes, and I would have earlier, I would have lit candles, scented candles. Make sure that my bed is fully lit. Take a very warm shower. It doesn't even end there. While I'm taking a shower, I'm listening to my best playlist while I'm at this. I have I have there's this light that I turn on. Everywhere is just really cool, calm. Everywhere is beautiful. I set my favorite movie, or even though it's a random movie I just want to see on YouTube, or yeah, on YouTube, I already have it ready. Or probably it's not food I want to eat that night. Probably it's like, small chops or popcorn. I would already have it ready. So as I'm leaving the shower, I have everything set for me. and that is how I relax to like mentally. It's just really, it just boosts my confidence as well. Another thing that I do, which I've said before, something similar, except something similar to meditating, would also be listening to podcasts while I am doing something. And when I mean by when I'm doing something, it's not something that I would rigorously like indulge myself in. It can be like, maybe I want to do the dishes. Obviously, that is not work related. So I can be listening to a podcast while I'm getting my hands busy. You understand? That is also another way to like relax myself. Another thing that I'm also planning to do, I haven't done it, but tomorrow I'm going to go shopping to go get those materials, is to paint. I'm going to buy a drawing book, yeah, to sketch stuff or paint stuff. I'm not a painter. I don't know how to paint. I don't know how to draw, but it's something that I would love to do. All of these beautiful things, anything. See, honestly, relaxing is anything that you can think of that makes you feel good. These are the things that make me feel good. Things like going to the museum makes me feel good. Things like going for like wine tasting are things that make me feel good. Now, my new favorite thing to do is to take myself on a movie date at night, where most of the times, like, probably I'm like the only person at the cinema, or maybe like two or three people there. Those are my favorite things to do. So honestly, it's just doing the things that would make you feel good at the end of it all. You understand? And when you finish, you actually feel like it's as if, when you cover a bottle for so long, and then you shake, 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 then it gets so fizzy, and then you just like open it up, how everything just splash. That is how you feel. You feel like, oh more, you've been holding this thing in for so long. You feel so relieved. Honestly, those are the things that I actively do, and some of the things that I wish to do. And I think if you try it, you would like it, for whatever gender you are. So don't make it seem like, oh, this is so feminine. Like, even as a guy, you can do this and you would love every moment of it. Sometimes I also indulge myself in like therapy shopping, but that one is, let me know, is this economy cannot do it again. But it's something that is so nice to do.
Yes,
Yes,
like,
it's so nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hell,
But
before
before you go,
you
let me
flourish.
flourish. Even before you ask the next question, there's something that, quite unfortunately, Mr. Joke is gone, which she already like gave us the disclaimer earlier that she was going to leave, like she's not going to stay here for long. She's on transit. But there's something that she said that if I do not emphasize it, I feel like I won't sleep well at night. So she said something. She said a few things that I jotted down, and it would be so nice for me to even like say it again for people that are just joining. So the first thing she said was something around the lines of controversy, like using your business page or even your personal page to indulge in conversations that are just overly controversial. I think it is now like I don't know if it's a trend or it is a supposed strategy for business owners. I've seen that. I actually noticed that. I even thought that maybe she was saying it because of it's a recent thing, but it's possible that it has been going on for some time. But I just noticed this recently, that business people will be having like very intense, or like, yeah, intense, I'll use the word intense conversations on the timeline. And I'm like, this is very, very unnecessary. Yes, there are really interesting people on these platforms. When I mean interesting, like, they will irritate you so much that you're like, oh my gosh, do people actually think like this? But it is not in your place to actually leave a comment. Do you know that you can make a comment, or you can respond to a very weird tweet, like orally, without actually typing it? You don't have to. You can actually even block the person if you wish, than for you to constantly engage in conversations that really would not does not have any link to what you're doing, or that would even like risk your branding, if that makes sense. So I think even in the midst of this whole talk about mental health, it's very important that we do not constantly indulge ourselves with conversations that would trigger us, because the thing with algorithm is that once you engage once with a very controversial topic or a sensitive topic, the algorithm will keep pushing those type of content to your FYP, because it's a computer. The computer is registering it as, oh, engaging. That means you're interested in it. So that means, like, when I start seeing your TL with a line of you being like an angry bird, you're so frustrated, and nobody wants to indulge themselves or wants to involve themselves with somebody that is always angry, or somebody that always has something very, like, intense to say. Personally, I would not patronize you if every single thing about your page, at least if they scroll in your TL, they will see at least 5 different times where you call somebody's son stupid. Like, honestly, you don't even need it. You don't need it at all, like, at all. And then another thing that she said was something relating to indirect selling, right? So I feel the need to emphasize this because of, again, the topic we're talking on, and it's basically to, like, reassure you as a business person that you are not alone. No, you are not alone. We have good days and we have bad days, and there are days that are slower than some days. In as much as me personally and even my brand Till It's Media, what we want to do for you is to help you make sales, but there are days that you might not even make sales, and it's absolutely normal. It's absolutely normal. What you might just need is to, like, change a few things. Maybe something that you've been doing that it was probably working and suddenly it stops working. Marketing is always ever changing, but that's even besides the point. The point is the whole idea of, selling indirectly. So she said something about sometimes you don't always sell. Selling does not only take place when somebody gives you money for exchange for your product or your service. Selling also happens when people go to your page and they can take one or two things from you as a business person, so that even if they cannot patronize you, they will constantly be like your number one supporter. And that is so true. That is so true. On my personal page, yes, on my personal page, I always, like, share tips that small business owners would need or would find helpful, even though it's the examples. I see a lot of you bookmarking these tweets. I don't do these tweets because if you come to us on Tell It Media, we won't charge you. We will definitely charge you for it. But the reason why I'm sharing this is because of the whole point of, obviously, you saw it and you bookmarked it. You bookmarked it because it was important to you, 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 to you, important 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 to you.